Hey, what's up, everybody? This is DJ with Touchpix. We're about to get started. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes while I set up, and we will get started shortly. Just hang on a few more minutes, and I'll be right back. Thank you. All right, we're about to get started. Again, this is DJ with Touchpix, and I want to welcome everybody who's taking the time out of their day to join our free webinar that we host every single Wednesday. Not sure if Tia's on the call. Tia, if you're here, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I am Tia. I am a member of the Touchpix team. I work with support, and I also manage our social media platforms and send out updates in the group. And then upcoming project, we will be creating a Touchpix newsletter So I'll be working on that as well. So, and for Wednesdays for the webinars, I'll be engaging you all in the chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. DJ will cover tonight, getting started with Touchpix. So I'm pretty sure a lot of your questions will be answered. So if you just, sit back and just tune in to the webinar, have your laptop ready to follow along with that portion. Go to touchpix.com, go ahead and start creating a free account, have your iOS devices ready so that you can be ready to follow along on that second portion of the webinar. And please limit interruptions during the webinar. Feel free to just go ahead and use the chat feature, and then DJ will open up the discussion for questions at certain points of the webinar. So thank you all for joining us, and back over to you, DJ.
Thank you, Tia. Thank you again. This is designed to be a class to show everybody who's coming on board the entry level settings of Touchpix and how to utilize and create an event quickly and be able to utilize all the resources that you have. Throughout the discussion today, I will be showing you guys what I consider some pro tips. Equipment wise, we may touch just a little bit, just because I know a lot of people are new. They've flooded my inbox saying, hey, what do you use, right? So that's kind of why I'm posting some pictures right now. But I'm going to go through the entire setup, the entire Touchpix setup, because I think it's something that's super important for everybody to understand. This app is pretty powerful in the sense that you have to understand how it works, and it's compatible with multiple devices. It's compatible with not only iPhones, iPads, it's compatible with GoPros, and it's now compatible with DSLR. So I think that in itself is something that you guys need to know, like what you're going to use or how you're going to use it. I think people have challenges at times in deciding what they're going to use. And I'm only going to go about what we recommend, and hopefully it'll give you some guidance as far as what you need to look for when deciding whether you're going to use an iPhone, whether you're going to use a GoPro, and it gives you a broader idea. But again, we're here to better equip you with some of these things, and we're hoping that it makes sense for a lot of you why we choose certain things. So I'll be going through the entire setup. I'll also be showing you how to kind of work your sharing station. I'll be showing you numerous different things as far as what I recommend, or what I feel is best if you're starting off, right? So again, this is Touchpix. It's a iOS app, which means it only works with Apple products, in the sense of um, it's a software, and it's a iOS software that you get from the Apple App Store. It does not run on Androids. You will see us using GoPros. You will see us using DSLR cameras. However, you have to understand that even though the GoPro is not an Apple product, or the DSLR is not an Apple product, our software still controls the recording from the camera. So we're able to utilize that. And in fact, we're the only iOS software that allows that triple threat type of capture device. A lot of them that are picking up steam that kind of have emulated what we've done are doing iPhones. There's some now that are barely integrating GoPro, and I'm sure there's some now that are also integrating DSLR. They got a lot of catching up to do, because we've been ahead of the curve for quite some time. We've been around for way over 2 years. Before this 360 craze started, Touchpix was just a photo booth software, right? It kind of was the first one to create iOS compatibility with 360 booth before it was super hard to do, and Touchpix made that happen. Okay, so with that being said, I'm actually screen mirroring the phone that I'm going to use, because I want to walk through some steps here. And for people that don't know, you do need an iOS device, whether it be an iPhone or an iPad, to control Touchpix. And the first thing that you would need to do is go into your Apple App Store, right? And I'm going to go into my Apple App Store right now and select, I'm going to move this real quick. And what I'm going to do is, I just downloaded the app again, but I want you guys to be familiar with your Apple App Store. You have a search bar, and then right above the search bar here on the right-hand side, you're going to see, let me put my phone on airplane mode. There it is. Airplane mode, it'll still let you hook up to Wi-Fi. This specific phone that I'm using, I use it for the business. It doesn't necessarily need cell phone signal. It'll work fine with or without it. Wi-Fi is all it needs. That's pretty much it. But when you're in the Apple App Store, what you want to do is right above the search bar, you'll have whatever icon you use for that specific phone. In this case, I use a business icon. You may have a picture or whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and press on that little icon, and it's going to take me to my account. Right here on my account, this is what I call my phone. It's basically called the name of my business. This is important right here. It's the Apple ID that's associated to my account. If I were to click on subscriptions, you will see Touchpix in a list of the subscribed apps that I use. This is very important for people that want to cancel, that may not have enough bookings to keep it going. But if you want to cancel your subscription, you go into your Apple App Store, click on the banner, click on subscriptions. You'll see Touchpix on the list and hit cancel. Then you can reactivate it whenever you want. Touchpix is a subscription-based app. It's no different than Netflix. It's no different than Spotify, Apple Music. You do got to pay a subscription fee, whether it be weekly, monthly, or yearly. It's really up to you to decide, but it is a subscription-based app. Okay, I'm going to go over some setups here. As you can see, the important part is that this Apple ID that I'm outlining here, it's not my personal Apple ID. I created this one way back when, and it's just strictly for my business, right? I probably should have named it at that time something related to my business, but I didn't. So I just didn't get to a point where I was gonna need to make that switch. So at this point, that's my Apple ID that's associated to my Apple App Store. Touchpix works by subscription, but if you buy a subscription from the App Store, you need to make sure that all your devices that you're using, for example, this is my iPhone, is logged on to this Apple ID. If I were to use an iPad, it's also going to be on the same Apple ID. If you have mismatched Apple IDs, Touchpix will not work, right? You're going to run into activation issues because the second device is not going to know that it's associated to your first device, right? So make sure they're on the same Apple ID where you made the purchase. Does anybody have any questions regarding these accounts? This seems to confuse a lot of people, a lot of our users. I just want to be crystal clear that you need to have your Apple ID on your business account. I would rather have you create a separate Apple ID straight for your business than put it on your personal account. If you're brand new to the business, what's going to end up happening if you get good at what you do, you're going to eventually start hiring staff to go do some of these events, right? Then you're going to be concerned that you're giving them a device with all your personal information because you're using your personal Apple ID. So please take a tip, create an Apple ID email, buy Touchpix from that specific Apple ID account, and you can log in and log off as needed. Anybody have any questions regarding that? Perfect. So now that we're going into Touchpix, I downloaded Touchpix from the App Store, and it's now located, it's located here on my desktop or my phone. And when you first install it, it's going to ask you for permissions. Please give it full permissions to everything that it asks. It's very important for the connection to be successful. It does use Bluetooth, it does use Wi-Fi, so it's asking me for Bluetooth. It's going to ask me for camera control if I were to hit activate event. I'm going to hit sharing station, but I'm not going to do anything. It asks me for camera control. It's going to ask you for microphone control. It's going to ask you for storage control because it's going to ask for the microphone control for the reason that it's also a photo booth app that can be used as a video confession booth. So it does record normal video outside of slow-mo, where sometimes the bride and groom want video messages left on the photo booth function. So it does need to ask for microphone permissions. It asks for storage permissions because as a backup function, it stores it temporarily onto your phone until it gets ready to dump it out into your gallery. So as a backup, everything that gets recorded gets stored onto your phone first. Eventually, when you're done with that event, you can hit. There's a function when you close out your event, it'll delete all the pictures from your phone once you ensure that it made it to the gallery. Okay. So this is what Touchpix is. I'm going to go ahead and click any of these two options up here. These are your trial modes, right? This is a trial mode for 360. This is a trial mode for photo booth. If I were to hit 360, I'm entering a trial mode. It's asking me for network permissions. I'm going to hit OK. It's asking me for microphone and storage. And it's making sure that I understood, right? So to your left, you're going to see what we call the hamburger. Three lines. It's our menu, basically. You tap on it, it'll give you some setting options, camera options, and queue options, right? The setting options are, you'll see, I'm going to go with greater detail on them. The camera options will let you adjust the camera settings. If I press Q, it'll tell me how many files are being sent via text message, WhatsApp, or email, and it'll let me know whether or not they're pending or not. If they are red, it means that they haven't sent. If they are green, it means that it's already sent. And I will show you an example as I go and I move forward with that, okay? What I want you guys to also understand, like this is a test mode. You guys can test this for free to make sure that it works for you. The only thing that it doesn't do on test mode is doesn't send out emails and it doesn't send out text messages because those cost money. When you pay for the subscription, obviously you're not only paying for the service, but you're also paying for the text and emails to be sent out under that subscription price. There's no additional fees for texting or emails. It's all included in our subscription. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and exit this test event just so you guys can see I'm out of the test event. And if I were brand new to Touchpix and I wanted to see how it works, I can always click on this banner. It'll give you a quick YouTube tutorial on how to set up your first event. If you haven't purchased a subscription, you're going to want to hit the subscriptions tab because it's very important that you do that first. And we have 3 different packages. We offer a weekly package that's $50. We offer a monthly package that's $139.99. And a yearly package that's roughly $1,000. Okay, the difference from these packages are price. Other than that, everything that you get from the weekly, you get on the monthly and the yearly, except for the yearly and the monthly, you have a little bit of cost savings if you make that investment. But we understand that there needs to be 3 categories. The reason being is that a lot of people do this part-time. A lot of people use their 360s for side hustles, right? And they may not be booked all the time. So a weekly package may make sense for you, where if you get a booking, you're going to activate your subscription for a week, and then you're going to cancel it if you don't have another booking the following week, right? But if you're a little bit more established in the photo booth game, you may have some iPad booths that you use as photo booth, and you might have a 360. Then you may want the monthly package if you get booked a little bit more frequently, right? So the monthly package may work best for you because it has a little bit of cost savings on there. If you're an established boother, that you may have 8 or 9 booths. I have about 10 of them now, right? They're not all iPad booths, but I do have a lot of iPad booths now. You may want to use the yearly package because it has a greater cost savings, and you might just want to get it over with and pay for it, right? So a lot of people say, man, this is kind of expensive. And everybody has an opinion regarding price, but I assure you Touchpix is one of the lowest costing apps that's out there. Yes, there's other options that start you off at maybe $25 or $30, I think. However, the minute you start adding events, say you have 3 bookings this weekend, the minute you want to activate or create a separate event, they're going to charge you a second or third event fee. That's how these other apps work, and that's how they regain some of their money. Touchpix doesn't care whether you have 1 event or you have 6 events in one weekend. We're not going to raise the prices. The prices remain the same. You can use it 1 time, you can use it 10 times throughout the week. It doesn't matter to us. We're not going to want a bigger piece of your pie which is why I don't understand why other apps charge you a per event fee. Seems like they want a piece of that profit margin every time you have a separate event, right? Also be mindful that a lot of these prices, you shouldn't be out of pocket. If you're an established photo booth business, or even if you're new, you should be charging either the full amount or a percentage of the subscription onto your package, right? If you have two events, you may want to charge one customer $25 and the second customer $25, which breaks out to your $50, and that's how you pay your subscription, right? You make it work for you. You are in control of your business. We're not going to tell you how to do it, but this should not be out of your pocket. So these are just kind of some pro tips that I'm offering you. Okay. Once you figure out which package you want, then you make the purchase. It's going to charge you through your Apple app, right? Touchpix does not deal with money directly. Everything that you purchase has to go through the Apple app ecosystem, which is their app store. Apple, of course, takes their cut, and then they write Touchpix a check at the end of the month from all the subscriptions. But that's typically how it works. We often get calls of people making the mistake of buying multiple subscriptions because they have 2 or 3 devices that are on separate Apple IDs. Please, we use this webinars as educational, and please know that if you purchase multiple subscriptions, you're going to get charged for them. You can call Apple and see if they can reverse it. I'm not sure if they can do it all the time, but your account will be marked, and you won't be able to do that, a second or third time. So just be mindful of that moving forward, and try to have everything in one Apple ID. Does anybody have any questions regarding that? Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to toggle over to my computer, and I'm going to go over into my Touchpix account. I'm going to go to touchpix.com. And this is the Touchpix website for those that are not familiar, right? This is where you're going to be living the majority of the time that you're creating some events, right? It looks like it was redone recently. And, Touchpix is a great app. It highlights everything. It highlights not only your capture devices, it highlights the equipment that you need to use. It gives you sharing station options. It gives you free QR code ways of delivering your content without the use of Wi-Fi, internet, or cellular signal. So we offer like a free method of sharing without utilizing the cell signal or internet. So a lot of people don't know about that. It's kind of more of an intermediate to advanced feature, but it's there, and I'm going to touch on it briefly. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and minimize the web page so you guys can see my desktop. My desktop looks like this, and I always create my events from a PC. Do you need a laptop at an event? Absolutely not. It's not necessary. When I create my events, I create them from home. I activate them from home. So when I show up to my event, I'm ready to go. I'm actually amazed because I work the support lines as well. And I get tons of calls of people buying the app saying, okay, I bought the app. What do I do? They have no knowledge on how to proceed with activating an event, how to create an event. I cringe at that because people take people's money. You're trying to provide a service, and if you know nothing about it, you shouldn't be taking people's money. I want to be the first to say that we're offering these same type of classes for that same reason, right? We want to be able to educate the public, not only to enhance your skills, but we want to enhance your skills, but we want you to be prepared for whatever else may come your way. At the same time, you guys are using our product. Of course, we want to show you how to excel and how to be able to provide the best output as possible, because it's only going to make our product look better, right? If we didn't offer these free classes and we just left it off to your own to figure out, then you're going to see a lot of poor product out there. And we're not about that. We would rather just take the time and show you guys and make it a learning experience, and at the same time make you guys understand that this is why this is a premium product, and this is why your price points should be where they need to be. And we all want to make money, and that's the end game, right? The end game is you should all be successful. You guys should all be prosperous, and you guys should be making tons of money because the industry is hot right now. The summer season is coming in, and 360s are in high demand. Okay, so that's kind of why we offer some of these classes. But real reason why I showed you my desktop is because I set everything up from a computer. I create myself a Touchpix folder, and in this Touchpix folder, I start dumping in the files that I need. For example, I'm just going to use this Instagram logo as an example. I'm pretending this Instagram logo is my logo for my business. So I'm always going to, I'll make a folder called Touchpix Files. I'll put my logo in this folder. I'll put some artwork that I'm going to use. Maybe you paid somebody to do artwork. They emailed it to you. You need everything in an organized, centralized space. That way you know how to select it when you're setting up your event. I have a couple of music files that I use here. I put them in the same folder. That way everything's together. Again, the key thing with this webinar is I want people to be prepared. I want people to be organized. I want people to, have the necessary knowledge on how to be successful in the industry. I took pictures here of some of my gear bag. I don't expect you guys to have the same equipment I do, but I'm just showing you that preparation goes a long way. In my gear bag, I obviously have a lot of different equipment because I have a lot of different booths. And my gear bag, I have a DSLR that's compatible with Touchpix. This is a Canon M200. I have a GoPro 10, I have a GoPro 7, and I have multiple iPhones. Do you need all that? Absolutely not. What I'm saying this is that you should always be prepared and at least have one backup device, right? God forbid your phone falls from the arm, it breaks, shatters, it doesn't power back on, then you're stuck refunding your client. That's a bad look for your business. That's a bad look for you. You might be embarrassed, right? Always have at least one backup device. So if you're using an iPhone, I would have a second iPhone, right? If you can't afford it now, just keep that in mind as you start building your portfolio. You're going to need a backup device. It's going to happen at some point where one device may not work as great as the other, or technology is a little weird. So I would always recommend just have one backup device. Always be prepared. I show you a gear bag because I dump in a lot of different things here in my gear bag. I dump in extra lights. I dump in extra batteries. I actually have a router here that I use for the internet our sharing system that doesn't require any internet use, right? It's just a Wi-Fi connection to our router, which communicates with our iPad, and you're able to connect and retrieve your files on demand. I have a couple of extra iPhone holders. These are simple things. You don't have to break the bank. And like I said, you don't have to have everything that I have, but just be mindful, get a bag, get organized, get at least one backup device, and you'll be ready for anything that comes your way. That's all why I show this. This bag is not even that big. I have a couple of angles from the bag. It actually has a pocket for a couple of iPads. In this case, I have a couple of Touchpix items here, and it's a small backpack, like I said. So it's a small little camera bag that I think I picked up for about 80 bucks. Anybody have any questions before I start with the actual webinar? You guys are good? Great. With that being said, I'm going to go into Touchpix. I'm going to log in. If you haven't logged into Touchpix, right, you're going to need to register. Register with your first and last name. And this is where it is very important. The email that you register, please, take my advice and create yourself a business Apple ID. That way it doesn't go to your personal phone and it doesn't get handled in that direction. So please just create a business Apple ID that you can log in and log off and purchase Touchpix from your business ID. Once you register, Touchpix is going to send you a welcome email where you set your password. You set your password and you're ready to log in. I'm going to click log in, right? I'm going to go over some tabs. This is called the dashboard. This is where you're going to be when you log in. A couple of tabs here are, the most important one is this one here, create an event. There's two options. There's a create a custom event, which we're going to learn today. The second option is create an event from a preset. I'm going to touch on the preset briefly because I think people need to know about it. I'm not a fan of it, but it's there to save you in the event that you just need to get up and go and do an event quickly and you don't have time to design, you don't have time to do a lot of things, Touchpix gives you kind of like a cheat code where if you click, it's a 3-click process, you're up and going, it'll give you a QR code. The reason why I don't like using it is because it's pretty generic. Touchpix has its default settings. Touchpix will add its Touchpix logo. Touchpix will add its Touchpix music. And that kind of defeats the purpose of why I'm spending money on an app if I'm going to get their branding and their choice of music. But it lets you change it. But if you're going to go through all the trouble and go the easy route and then go back in and change everything, then learn how to do the event from scratch. You know, you're going to be doing yourself a big service if you learn it from scratch. And you know, if you take shortcuts, generally you're going to get burnt if you don't learn the software. So what I would advise you to do is, if you have time, play with the presets, but don't necessarily you know, spend too much time on them, because I want you guys to learn how to do it from scratch. Go up here and click on create an event, and you're going to want to go to create a custom event. Once you click on create a custom event, you're going to see this huge list that I'm going to spend a long time talking about. This list is really not that long, but it should only take you about 5-10 minutes to fill out, 10 minutes at the most. But once you are very familiar with the settings and you know what everything does, moving forward, it's only going to take you about, I don't know, maybe about a minute or so to fill out this list. This list is basically you telling the software what you're going to use it for and how you're going to use it. So everything's broken down into sections. It starts with the name of the event. I'm going to call this webinar. I'm going to give it today's date. Today is the 11th, and it's a webinar. I'm going to change the language to English. Country is USA. Countdown. Be mindful that a lot of these functions are for photo booth as well. So obviously I don't want a 4-second countdown. What that means is that once I press start, just like any other photo booth, it's going to count down 4, 3, 2, 1. Then it's going to start recording. That works great for a photo booth taking pictures, but for a slow motion booth, you probably want to set your countdown to like a 2 or a 1. That way, when you press start, it's going to be 2, 1, record, right? It'll give you 2 seconds to buffer, and then it'll record. The beep sound just means that for every second that's in the countdown, it's going to make an auditory sound. It does not matter whether you enable it or disable it. A lot of us do parties at venues that are loud based on DJ or live band, so you might not even hear the beep anyhow. It doesn't matter. It's just all preference. The mirror overlay preview. The mirror overlay preview is a photo booth feature. For those that are familiar with photo booths, once you go into a photo booth and you click start to begin the session, you can see yourself in the live view. And if you're lined up on the right side on the photo booth, you're going to look like you're lined up on the left side. That has the mirror effect. This is a photo booth function. I always disable it. Doesn't matter if you leave it enabled, your content, it'll be fine. It's just for you to see the preview of where people are lined up, right? I leave this off, doesn't matter. As I scroll down, it's telling you if you want to use the front camera or the rear camera. The reason it even says front camera is because the front camera is what's used for iPad photo booths. But if you're doing strictly 360 slow motion, I would always recommend you use the rear camera, right? If you have a GoPro or a DSLR, those settings to activate that camera are somewhere else, and I will get there and I'll explain to you how to activate those once I get to those settings. But for now, I'm saying I'm using a rear camera, and I'm moving along. Camera exposure, I leave it enabled. The camera exposure, for those of you that are familiar with a little bit of photography, it allows you to access your exposure controls in your camera to adjust for lighting scenarios. A lot of people that are getting into the 360 booth business spend a lot of money on equipment, spend a lot of money on devices, and forget about buying good quality lights for their content to be good. They may start with maybe 1 or 2 wand lights, and they're slowly going to find out that they need more lighting to get the best video quality possible. So this exposure item is actually a very important item because it's going to let you go into your settings and compensate a little bit better for low light scenarios, right? So you'll be able to bump up the ISO or your exposure settings on your camera. So it's pretty important. I always leave it on. So if you're following along, leave it on. QR app protection. Leave this off. This has no relevance for 360. If accidentally you enable this and you want to make small settings, every time you access the back end of Touchpix, it's going to ask you for a QR to be scanned to be able to access the back end. This is meant for people who use Touchpix on iPad photo booth and drop them off for like birthday parties. They do some drop-offs for like 2 hours, right? If you enable QR app protection, the guests won't be able to access the back end settings unless they have the original QR. It's kind of like a lock. So leave this off for 360, okay? As we scroll down, we're not going to be printing because this is a video. So make sure that you hit the drop down and you select no printing. If you forget to do that, you're going to see Touchpix looking for a printer after it finishes recording. So please, to avoid further delays, just hit no printing on the drop down. As we scroll down, we're in the functions part. It's photos, which I'm not going to use. I'm not going to do boomerangs. I'm not going to do GIFs. I'm not going to do videos. I'm only interested in doing slow motion, okay? So I'm going to leave slow motion checked off. And I'm going to come down here where it says slow-mo recording. If you ever want or don't know what a function does, you could always hover the question mark and it actually tells you what that function does. So, you know, don't feel like you have to memorize everything I say. You can always hover on the question mark. It'll give you an explanation. Touchpix gives you a default record time of about 4.5 seconds. That doesn't mean that your video is going to be 4.5 seconds long. It just means that it's going to record for 4.5 seconds. Once the slow motion is applied, and if you choose boomerang, that comes out to be like a 16, 17-second video. And if you add like a video promo, if somebody creates a video promo for your business, you're going to add 8 to 10 seconds at the end of that, and that becomes like, you know, 28-second video. If you want your videos a little longer, you can always make them a little longer. We recommend you use 4.5 or 5. It really depends what you want to use, but you know, you're going to play around with it. You're going to figure out what is your sweet spot. Where do you like your videos to be at? If you make this higher, obviously the higher you make it, the longer the processing time takes. If you leave it between 4.5 or 5, which is what we recommend, you're going to have a great time and everything's going to go smooth and fast. So really, it's going to come down to your preference and what you're willing to sacrifice or what you're willing to wait for as well. The slow-mo boomerang. What the slow-mo boomerang does is once it applies the slow-mo effects, right when it reaches the video, the end of the video, it plays the video in reverse. So it'll add a boomerang effect and it'll play the video in reverse. It's actually a very cool effect. I always leave it on. So I'd recommend you guys leave it on. This part here where it says add audio file, there's 3 places where you can add music. To add music, you can add it from the web interface, which is what this is, right? Please pay attention to the format. It only accepts MP3 files, and this is the size. Anything 512 or below, you'll be okay, right? I think people get confused a lot because of this. It needs to be an MP3 file. People say, well, DJ, where do I get music, right? That's a pretty popular question. Well, Touchpix makes it real easy for you. We're a legitimate business. We're always going to teach you how to do things the legal way. We understand that you probably see videos out on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok with mainstream artists, right? I'm not going to show you how to use mainstream artists. Although TikTok and Instagram and Facebook make some deals with certain record labels with certain artists that you can use their content on their platform, that's great. You can do that, right, on that specific platform. However, not all artists are there. And if you use a copyright track, more than likely it'll get booted from Facebook or Instagram, or it'll get muted by their algorithm, right? I'm not going to get into a debate. I'm just letting you know that I'm going to show you how to do things the legal way. Tia is going to put a bunch of resources on the chat where you can get copyright or royalty-free music to do things the right way. I get a lot of questions with saying, DJ, well, I pay Apple Music, so I'm paying for the music. Yeah, that's great. You're paying for the music for personal use. Your 360 business is no longer for personal use. It's for business use. You're making profit off of that. So that is void. That agreement you use with Apple Music is void. Plus, Apple is very good at doing anti-piracy um, protocols, for lack of a better term, is that their music from Apple Music it's not MP3. They changed that format and it's an M4A format, which is not compatible with Touchpix. We're only compatible with MP3 music. A lot of people go out on the web and try to use converters to convert something to MP3. Some of them are successful, a lot of them are not. That's not a Touchpix issue. That is a issue with whoever's trying to do it and the converter that they're using. So if I get a call to the support line and saying, hey, I'm trying to use this track, I find that it's a copyright track, I'm not going to help you load that track, but I'm going to make suggestions on what track you guys can use that are absolutely free. As a matter of fact, Touchpix gives you 14 free tracks, so you don't have to worry or stress out. All of these tracks are feel-good instrumental tracks that are great for 360s. Yes, they're not mainstream tracks. Again, we're trying to protect our product and we're trying to protect liability with us, and we hope that you do the same with you and your business. As we scroll down, the screen flash here, leave this disabled. This is a photo booth feature that emulates a flash from your iPad. It is not needed. If you accidentally enable this and are using an Apple TV box, it may cause some interference, so please leave this off for slow motion. As we scroll down during timeouts, all of these numbers represent number of seconds, right? Typically for photo booth, it'll let you edit a picture with filters. It'll let you edit a picture with a lot of different things like props. This is not a photo booth. This is a video booth. So I don't care about the editing time. I don't care about the thank you screen. I don't care about 10 seconds to be able to put props. This is all photo booth function. What is very important and crucial is the sharing component here. Leave it at 12. This controls your sharing station. If you put this at 0, you will not be able to share your content because it's not going to be on your screen long enough for the guest to share. Everything else remains at 0. Leave this at 12 and we'll be good to go. As we scroll down, these are your sharing methods. Today, I will go over email. I will not go over Facebook. I will not go over Twitter. I won't even use copy. Everything else I can cover. The reason why I'm not using Facebook or Twitter is because Facebook or Twitter recognize Touchpix as a third-party app. It will not let us send something to somebody's Facebook unless that person logs in with their Facebook email account and password. And quite frankly, nobody remembers their Facebook email or password or Twitter email or password, right? It's better if you share it these other ways. And once that person receives that content, they could share it onto their own Twitter or Facebook platform. That doesn't matter. It's a lot quicker. So we do email. We do WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a probably more known as an international app that allows a phone number to be texted that's from out of the country, right? So I like to use that. SMS is the same thing as text messaging. So this is text messaging. SMS is text messaging. So I enable text messaging. I'm going to enable AirDrop for people who use iPhones, for people who use Androids, enable QR code sharing. And for people that want other options like maybe Facebook Messenger, if you have your iPad logged in as a business account, you may be able to share via Instagram or Facebook Messenger or even iMessage, right? So you can do it several different ways. I left download at the very last because I want people to understand the following. We are an app that records high quality videos, right? High quality videos are pretty big in size generally. And when you're sharing these videos, you're not actually sharing the video itself, right? Our app is a cloud-based app, so it means that when you have good internet, it actually uploads the video up into our cloud server. Once it's in our cloud server, it creates a link. So when somebody emails or text messages themselves, they're not getting the actual video, but they're getting the link to that video, right? And if you receive that link via text, and if you're an iPhone user and you click on that link, by default, mostly every iPhone that I've seen out there, it's going to open their Safari web browser, unless you're kind of an advanced or intermediate advanced user and set up a your Google Chrome to be your default web browser. Most everybody's going to have their Safari web browser open up. And if you don't have this download checked off, you will not be able to download the video with Safari. This needs to be checked off. That way you see a download button on the Safari web browser. So this is very important. Okay. So these are the preferred methods of sharing. This is what I'm going to show today. Edit screen, again, this is a photo booth feature to stickers, effects on the photos. It's not needed for videos. The in-app gallery, this is absolutely very important. The in-app gallery is super important for you guys, and I recommend that this is always checked off. If this is not checked off, you are going to have sharing issues. You will not be able to share if the in-app gallery is not checked on, okay? And because you're paying Touchpix a subscription fee, you're able to brand it with your branding. You can change your email subject to make it reflect your business name. And you can also change the message to make it reflect whatever it is that you want your customers to know. In my case, I'm going to say thank you for choosing XYZ 360. Call us for bookings at, I'm just going to make up a number, 555-555-5555, right? If you leave your message, and I'm going to add one more thing. I'm going to add, please see attached file below, because right below this message, you're going to see a link was going to appear to that specific file. As you can see, I did not use any special characters. I didn't use .com. I didn't use any dashes for my phone number. No special characters. This is 100% what I would recommend you use as a message. Obviously, change your phone number and whatever your business is called. If you add the @ symbol, if you add pound signs, if you add dashes, the probability of that being flagged as a spam text message is high, and it may not send that. So try to use a message without special characters, right? I typically use a message like this, and I use it for all 4 boxes. So what I do is highlight it, right click, hit copy, and on this text message, I highlight that and then hit paste, and it actually merges that message. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it one more time here. This is what I use, and this is when you'll be successful. As you can see, it says do not include web links, special characters that include @ or pound. Phone numbers are okay as long as you don't use the dash, right? So if you're not on that, you'll be fine. If you try to go about it your way, you may have some errors if you don't follow some of these directions. So try to do that, and I think you'll be 100% successful in delivering your content. As I scroll down here, this is the prop area. We're not using any props. This is not photo booth, so I'll leave it at no props. This is your branding section. This is where you can highlight Touchpix and make it your own, right? If my company was called XYZ 360, then I would put my company name here, right? Oops, I lost connection to my keyboard. Give me one sec. So the important things here to know is that it's going to ask you for certain files right here. This is your branding section. As you look right below these sections, it's going to tell you it's compatible with JPEG, PNG, and then some cases MP4s. I will recommend you guys just utilize PNG files, right? When you're starting off. And if you're getting a little bit more familiar and feel comfortable, making a switch to JPEG or MP4s, then do so. The reason why I say PNG is because PNG is actually a pretty important format that Touchpix uses. PNG is called, it's actually a transparent artwork, right? Transparent is something that you're going to utilize when you make your overlay designs and needs to be transparent. And the reason why I say stick with PNG is because if you have that in your head, everything that you do is going to be in a PNG format, which means that the likelihood of you making a mistake is reduced. If I were to say use JPEG for this, use PNG for this, JPEG for that, it's going to confuse you. So just use PNG files moving forward, and I think you will have an easier time in setting this up. I'm going to explain to you what that looks like. For example, this is your app logo. Your app logo, if whatever file I point here and I upload here, it's going to appear in my sharing station. And if I'm using an Apple TV box using the screen mirroring option, it's also going to appear on the TV itself, right? So it's going to be your logo that's being branded, right? Whatever file I use here in the app background, it's what's going to appear on the face of your iPhone or the face of your iPad. You'll see the Touchpix controls right in front of it. It's a way to brand your device with your logo. So when people walk up to your booth, they see who you are or they'll see your brand, right? Same thing for the web gallery. Whatever file I upload here, eventually you're going to give your client a web gallery. And if it has your brand on the background, it makes it look very customized, very professional, and they'll know how to get a hold of you, right? So those are the differences with all three of these. I actually use the same file in all three locations just to make it real easy. I'm not trying to mess with different artwork for one thing and then use something else for another. I like to keep everything really quick, fast, and able to kind of work with the same file with all three locations. The attract screen, I'm not going to show you the attract screen, but I'm going to explain to you what that is. The attract screen is just exactly that. It's an attract screen. Whatever file you load there, if your photo booth or 360 booth sits at idle and nobody's using it for like maybe 20, 30 seconds, the attract screen is essentially a screensaver that pops up. It could be a video, it could be a picture. It's just meant to attract attention. That's all it is. In order for that to go away, all you got to do is tap the screen and it goes back into normal mode. You don't need it. If you want to play with it, it's there. You can use it. It looks cool in some occasions, but it's not needed. So coming back to the app logo, I'm going to click on choose file, right? Typically, it doesn't open up right away under my Touchpix files. Typically, if you're brand new, it'll probably upload into your download folder. I'm going to go into my desktop and then I'm going to point it to my Touchpix files. Once I point it to my Touchpix files, it's going to open up in that same location all the time moving forward. Touchpix files, right? This is why I explained at the beginning. Get a folder, drop all your files in there. It makes the setup process a lot easier, a lot fluid, and a lot more you'll just be more organized in that sense. So I'm going to click choose file, and I'm going to pretend that this Instagram logo is my logo, so I'm going to use that. Open. If I hover on the Instagram logo, you can see that it's a PNG file. You can see the size of the file, and you can see, the dimensions. Use any logo. I would say 3000 by 3000. Those are in pixels. You'll be fine, right? Anything 3000 by 3000 in pixels, you'll be fine. So this is an Instagram logo PNG file. I'm going to select it and hit open. I'm going to use the same exact logo for my app background and hit open. I'm going to use the same exact logo for my web gallery. And again, I'm pretending that this is my logo. That's what people are going to see, right? I'm not using anything for the attract screen. I'm going to leave it blank. If my logo had a white background, I'm going to want to change the text and the button colors to another color other than white, or else they're going to be camouflaged, right? My logo is not white, but if you needed to change your text and button colors, which I'll do, I'll click on this white square and I'll click anywhere in the color palette, any color that I want to use, right? Maybe I'll like that color, that blue color, and I'm okay with that. So let's just kind of go with that. Down here at the bottom is your trigger, motion trigger. Some people have automatic spinners, some people have manual spinners. It's really a preference type thing. If you enable trigger, right, and you're using an iPhone and you're mounting that iPhone onto your 360 arm, the iPhones have a GPS sensor, right? So if you activate the motion trigger, once you hit start on the remote of your 360, if you have an automatic, it's telling the software that it's the iPhone's telling the software that it's being moved. Therefore, it's going to start the record or the countdown process right away, right? So it'll have a motion trigger. That way you don't have to press start on the screen and press start on your remote. Some people love this feature. Some people don't. Play with it. If it works for you, you know, customize it and make it work for you. For people who have an manual spinner, I'm going to recommend you don't use this because it's not really needed. You're going to be holding that arm anyways. So it's easy for you to hit start and waiting for the countdown to hit 1 before you're throwing your 360 arm around. So that's what the motion trigger does. It's just an automated way of starting the process with one button. The external screen, you have a couple selections. The external screen is optional. You do not need to use it, but this is a good way of you making extra money. If you're going to use the external screen and you're going to enable an external screen and you're using an iPhone and an iPad sharing station with a Apple TV. So an Apple TV, for people that don't know, is similar to an Amazon Fire Stick or a Google Chromecast. It's a small device that plugs into your TV via HDMI, except the Apple TV is made by Apple, right? In this case, once you plug in that device to your TV, it allows your phone to communicate or to screen mirror to your TV wirelessly without the need of any internet. And Touchpix uses that and it's able to utilize the recording so people can see themselves while being recorded. Once the recording process is down or done, the guests step outside the platform. They can see the video being played back on the screen. And if you have this function on the QR carousel, it'll have a QR code right next to the video. So the guests can now walk up to the TV screen, scan that QR code, and download their video content. For this specific feature, you do need to have internet or good Wi-Fi for this to work, right? But it does work pretty good. The other thing that I want to explain, that if you do use this feature, it only plays back the 4 most recent videos. For example, if somebody gets onto your 360, gets off the 360, they forget to retrieve their video and they go into the party to go mingle with the rest of the guests. Half hour later, they remember, oh, I forgot to go grab my video. You know, they go up to you and they say, hey, I forgot to grab my video. Can you make my video pop up on the screen? That's not possible, right? You're going to have to send them to the sharing station because it's only going to play the 4 most recent videos up there, unless you toggle this external session and go to slideshow. Slideshow is popular for the GoPro users because as of right now, GoPro is not able to do live view recording. We're working on that to hopefully make it possible. It's still been a work in progress. So slideshow also plays, it plays a good slideshow throughout the night. Every single video that gets created, it'll play it at a random time and it'll start playing throughout the night like a slideshow. So it's really up to you. This is not necessary, but it's actually a good feature if you do it, right? I'm going to leave it on the external session for this webinar. Live view is enabled. Your company logo, all this means is if you enable this, it's going to grab whatever logo you uploaded here and place it onto your TV, right? Whatever company logo you grabbed here, it's gonna play it onto your TV. We're now at the bottom of the list and you hit I agree with the terms and conditions and you hit submit. Once you hit submit, you're going to be given a QR code. This is the QR code that you're going to need to scan for your specific event. What I'm going to do, since I'm screen mirroring right now, I'm going to take a picture of the QR code with my phone just to have it as a reference. We're not completely done yet. You're done creating the event, but you haven't loaded a piece of artwork onto the event yet. So you got two options. And I'm going to recommend you guys really look into the designer. Our old designer will take you there, but I want you guys to look at the new stuff that we have coming out. I think it's a great tool to have, and you're going to save tons of money. So if you go to the designer and then you go to the new designer beta, this is something that's been released. You can use it now. You can just hit log in with your account. And this is actually pretty awesome. So it makes designing templates super easy. It makes you kind of look more like a professional, and you don't really have to start spending money buying templates from people who are feeling generous, for lack of a better term. There's a lot of people that post in our group saying we're feeling generous. If you see that term, it's highly probable it's a scam. Please don't give money to people unless you've been referred and they're known as reputable people. We can't control the group 100% all the time. And unfortunately, there's been some scams out there. So with that being said, I think Tia will provide you some animators or some graphic designers that we've used. We're not really endorsing them, but we know that they're reputable and they're not going to take your money without at least having a conversation about what you want and what type of work you want. So we're in this new designer. If you hover over where it says type, this is going to be a video booth. We're going to select the event. If you guys recall, I named the event today's date. So this is the event today, right? And I'm going to select my template. So these are the template options for slow-mo recording. Template 1 is more of a portrait style template. This is very popular with Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels, right? It's vertical. If you use this template, more than likely, if you're using an iPhone or even a GoPro, your iPhone needs to be in a vertical orientation, and the GoPro needs to be in a portrait mode, meaning on its side, right? So again, these are very popular with Instagram Reels or Facebook. If you like that look, definitely use this template. If you're going to have somebody design something custom for you, this is what they need to know, the size of that template. That way they can design around it. Template 2 is a square. This is more Instagram post friendly. It's a perfect square. A lot of people use that. I think that's pretty popular. If this is your look, your GoPro or your iPhone are going to be in landscape position. And I like to use template 3. It's kind of my go-to. It's all preference, right? I just, again, this is my opinion. The reason why I like template 3 over template 1 or 5, the portrait ones, is because although these look great on your phone or your mobile devices, if you ever play them on a normal computer or if you play them on a TV, you're looking at a TV without the full real estate. You'll see big black bars on the side, and I'm not a fan of that. But if you are, I mean, that's great. Go ahead and use that. I'm just explaining why I use template 3 because it covers most of the screen, right? So that's kind of my thing. Template 4 covers the entire screen, and you might not need all this wide view angle, but it's there. Template 5 is a more cropped out version of template 1. So pick whichever template you feel best represents you and your brand. In my case, I'm going to stick with template 3, right? And I'm going to select it and I'm going to hit use template right here on the side. So I see this big silhouette here as my template 3. So what I'm going to do now is hover over where it says manage design and go down to the design library. So Touchpix not only is going to give you free music, which I'm going to show you a little bit later, it's going to give you literally hundreds of designs for free. You can filter through all these designs by birthday, wedding, Halloween, whatever you want to filter through, right? It literally has for every single event. Like maybe I want to do wedding, right? It'll focus just on weddings, right? All of these are absolutely free within Touchpix. It'll actually let you edit the words or any of these actual graphics. It'll let you edit, super easy to use. For example, if I'm going to use something for my 360, more than likely, I'm gonna use something, I want something a little subtle. Weddings tend to have a lot of flowers for me. Let's roll with this one here. So I'm gonna pick this design here. I'm gonna select it. And boom, it's loaded on here, right? Super easy to load. It's already loaded. Maybe I just want to add some text. And if I want to add text, I go over to the left, click on text, right? Text box opened up. I could drag it to the left a little so that way I can see what it is. You can actually pick your font color. Say I want red, right? If I wanted to put a white background, a black background, or no background, you can pick from there, right? Say I want red. Now I want to change my font. You go up here where it says font family and you have fonts to choose from, right? Again, this is all free. This is all provided by Touchpix, and you buying our subscription or, again, you don't have to be paying for templates to be made. You can do this yourself, and it's going to save some money. So you can pick any of these fonts up here. Let's use this here for now. And then I'm going to double click, and then I'm going to edit that and make it say something like happy birthday. And I'm going to click done. I can position it wherever I want. And I can keep adding to this if I want as well. I can always keep adding to this as well. Another thing I can do is if I wanted to add my logo up here, right, for branding, I go over to manage preset, manage design. I'm going to click manage stickers. And it's telling me if I want to add a custom sticker or I want to load it from my computer. Where do I want to grab that sticker from? I'm going to load it from my computer. I'm going to click on upload. And automatically it takes me back to my Touchpix files. I'm going to pretend this is my logo, the Instagram logo. Hit open, hit upload. It pops up here on the left-hand side. If I click on it, right, it pops up on the screen, and now I can resize it and place it wherever I want my logo to be, right? Or I think I use Instagram, right? So it lets you use multiple files, whatever it is. Just giving you an idea. If you want it out of there, you just click on it and then hit delete. The beauty with this designer now, it allows you to save this design. Say you want to save these and reuse them for something else. You can always go to manage preset and hit save, right? And it'll allow you to save it under whatever name you want. After you're done, say this is the design that I want to utilize, right? What I want to do is hit add to event, and it added it exactly to that specific event, right? So now I'm going to log out of that designer. I'm going to go back into Touchpix. I'm going to go back under my account, events. You're going to see this is the event that we just created up here. And if I click on overlays, you should be able to see that overlay I just created. It's right there, right? That's where the overlay is. Again, go to events. This is where we're at. I haven't activated that event yet. I'm going to click on QR code and I'm going to take some questions. You guys have any questions? What do you guys think about setting up that event? It seemed pretty easy, hard. Feel free to share some feedback.
I had a question, DJ. I see now, I missed the last couple webinars, but I see everything is different now in Touchpix now, as far as how I used to have on this to the left where you can add the stickers and whatnot. So now everything is different.
Well, no, that's still the same. So if you go over to designer, you can go over to the old way, which is the regular designer. I was just highlighting the new designer that we're going to start implementing. So you can still use it the old way and go here. So I think that I didn't go over, which I'm going to go back before I activate this event, is this gentleman has probably been following us for quite some time now, and I understand, you don't make a lot of the webinars, which is great, but also it's always good to drop in to get kind of new features to see what we're working with. So this gentleman was referring to the designer of old, right? So this is our old designer, which I'm going to show you how to actually upload. Maybe you paid somebody to do a custom template for you just to personalize it. And this is how you actually load a pre-existing template that you've had somebody create. They might have emailed it to you. You saved it into your folder. So you go to designer, you go over here to your left, you're going to pick your templates first. And again, we were working with template 3. You're going to click on that. The silhouette pops open. Right now, I want to upload a file. So I'm going to go over to the left-hand side, hit upload. I can create a custom overlay. If somebody created one for me, I'm going to hit browse. It automatically takes me to my Touchpix files. I'm going to select this file here. Right. Then I'm going to see it right down here on the left-hand side. I'm going to click on it. Once I click on it, it applies it. It's just a simple overlay, right? Now what I want to do, what this gentleman said it lacked, was the sticker. The sticker option is still there. Custom sticker, hit browse. And I'm going to add 2 stickers. I'm going to add the person's name because it's a separate file. It's always in my Touchpix folder. That's how I keep everything organized again. And now the sticker is going to appear at the very, very top up here. I'm going to click on it. And now I can resize my sticker as the person's name, right? Position it however I want. And now I'm going to add my logo. So by adding my logo, I go back and hit uploads again, do another sticker. Now I want the Touchpix logo as my brand. I see it up here. I'm going to click on it. And now I can resize this, put it anywhere I want. And once I'm happy with this design, I can hit add template, right? And it'll add it to that specific event. So yeah, the old way still exists. We're just kind of rolling out a new way of designing stuff.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Anybody have any other questions before I activate this event and show you kind of how to go about doing that? All right, I'm going to go ahead and
yes, I have a question. My apologies, I have a question.
Sure.
If I purchase I'm thinking about purchasing the sparkle, lights, leaks, confetti through Touchpix, but I wanted to know, will this work under the new designer?
Yeah, because the light sparkles and leaks, they're actually not loaded from our interface, right? They're not loaded from this web interface. They're actually loaded from your phone. Right. And so yeah, it'll definitely still work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so
DJ,
go ahead.
How do you get the music added?
Yeah, so I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over that now.
Okay.
When I create the event.
Okay.
Was there another question? Somebody else?
Yeah, DJ. Yeah.
It was
So,
I'm sorry.
the webinar that we're talking now, is this apply only to 360s, or say for instance, I have a PhotoMaster photo booth. Is this software compatible with that?
No, this software is strictly iOS, strictly Touchpix on iOS. Yeah, so it's not that. PhotoMaster is basically a turnkey brand. You're going to have to contact them for whatever that software uses. Yeah, this is just gotcha. strictly Touchpix.
All right, appreciate it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, one more question, and then we're going to go ahead and resume the rest of the webinar. Gotcha. So go ahead.
Okay. All right. So what I'm seeing, because I did a lot of reviews before I bought the photo booth, and I'm currently kind of searching for the right app, which I have chosen Touchpix. What I want to be able to do, because what I've been hearing from a lot of reviews is that when you add effects to your video, it takes a longer time to process. So I want to be able to create a system or a workflow to where, okay, if you're saying that we can display it on the screen, they can go in and do their video, and then they can kind of come back in like 10 minutes and, you know, get their QR code. Like, will you be showing us a process or procedure for that? Because I do want to have the effects on my 360 booth, just, you know, for marketing purposes and things like that.
Yeah, so this is a kind of a double question, right? So you're asking if, let me see if I understood you correctly. You want to add effects, you're scared that the effects take too long, but you're saying that if a client can come back and grab the video at a later time, that would be beneficial for you, correct?
Yes.
Absolutely. I want to show you the sharing station. There's no reason why the normal sharing station wouldn't work for you. Everything gets uploaded on the sharing station. And yeah, let's tackle this. And then if you have any questions after that, just feel free to chime in.
All right, no problem.
Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you my screen again. I'm going to go ahead and toggle away from here. Give me one quick second. I'm doing a screen mirror, so you're going to see my screen pop up again. And I'm going to show you how to create an event. And we're going to move forward with that. So that's, okay, here we go. I'm going to go into Touchpix, right? I'm going to go ahead and click on Activate Event. It's going to give me three choices. It's going to give me, do I want to test the event out? Do I want to set it up as a sharing station? Or I'm ready to go, I'm just want to activate the event. I'm going to click Activate Event, right? Camera goes on. I actually took a picture of my QR code. Typically, I would scan it from my monitor, but I'm screen sharing, so you guys wouldn't be able to see that. And it's setting up my event now, right? Because I enabled a feature for the Apple TV, it's going to download a small resource that it needs to communicate. And it should only happen once. Unless you delete the app and reinstall it, this will happen again, okay? So let's go, and it downloaded the resources that it needed. And now I have the app fully loaded. And as you can see, everything that we just set up online transferred over to my phone, right? I'm going to click on the little hamburger up top, and I'm going to go through the setting process. I'm going to click on settings, right? And as you look at my settings, right, I have a few things that I want to highlight. If you look at the fifth option down where it says compress, it's actually the sixth option down. By default, it leaves it on medium quality. If you want the best quality, click it on ultra high quality, okay? I feel obligated to tell you that we've changed some things around, and I want you guys to be able to feel confident about your setups, and I want you guys to feel confident about just the quality of Touchpix. I am going to share the following information, but I'm also going to throw a disclaimer. If you do not know what you're doing, please just leave it on ultra high quality. If you feel pretty good about what, how to achieve a speed test, I'm going to go ahead and show you real quick right now. Is right below the ultra high quality, we have a way integrated in our app to test your internet speed. It says network speed test. Before, we would have you download a third-party app and tell us, okay, so what's your upload speed? What's your download speed? So I'm going to go ahead and toggle that on, right? And it's telling me it's going to do a speed test. And it's conducting a speed test on my internet connection currently. It may or may not be fast. I mean, I'm actually sharing the bandwidth because I'm screen sharing with everybody here. But let's figure it out. So it's checking speed. It's doing a quick speed test on my Wi-Fi. This is something that you guys can definitely achieve while you show up, right? My download speed is almost 400, right? My upload speed is about 20. This would be ideal. This, if I was out at any venue, I'd feel pretty happy about this speed as far as sharing, right? We recommend at least, anything above a 7 for upload. Upload speed is what you're really after here. The upload speed is what uploads onto our cloud, right? Which makes it a lot faster for sharing. So definitely, if you're anything above a 7, I'm almost at a 20. I feel real confident about that, Okay, so the next process I'm going to explain to you, but please don't mess with this unless you really know what you're doing. Okay, but I feel like it's a new feature, and I feel like people need to know about this new feature. If people feel like they want the best quality out there, hands down, if you see right above compress, there's a toggle that says right here, it says apply compress. If you remove this, you're going to get original footage with no compression. Your video size is going to be large. It's probably going to be really hard for you to share. So unless you really know what you're doing and maybe you're using ScanPix to share the content, don't use this unless you know what you're doing. But if you want optimal quality, this is where you want to be. You want to disable apply compress, and you're going to have the best available quality possible for that specific device. Okay, so definitely just take note of that, practice, and see if it works out for you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and select it back on for the purposes of this webinar. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit this toggle switch here to the right. I'm going to go over to the camera settings, and I'm going to explain those. Right now it's on back camera. If you're using a GoPro, right, it's compatible with the GoPro 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. I recommend the 10 if you're able to get it, but if you are wanting to switch over to the GoPro, you're going to need to switch over from back camera to GoPro or DSLR, whatever you're going to use. This is where you make the connection. If I were to hit GoPro, right, I would hit connect to GoPro once I powered on my GoPro, and that will sync with one another. Same thing for DSLR, but we're just focused on the iPhone right now. So I'm going to leave it at the iPhone. I want to use the iPhone, but the back camera is the camera you want to use with the iPhone 11, 12, or 13. It's the best camera. Once you select the back camera, you're going to want to come down here over to lens type. And if you're using an 11, 12, or 13, you're going to want to select the ultra wide lens. You're going to click done, right? It's going to give you a little warning about adjusting your slow-mo speed. Hit understood. Right when you do that, you're going to click on slow-mo speed right here. And slow-mo speed needs to be set to 1920 by 1080 at 120 frames per second. You got two choices. Use the first one and click done. And your camera settings are where they need to be to collect slow motion footage. I'm actually going to toggle to the right again. These are some effects for photo. I'm going to toggle to the right again, and this is called your video effects. This is where you're going to apply your video effects. For the lady who was asking about the audio, this is the audio portion. Please take note. I included an audio from the web interface, which you saw me load. I'm gonna delete it and show you where the free audio is located. So by me deleting what I added on the web interface, I'm gonna click on this audio tab right here. Once I click on this audio tab, this window pops up, and I'm gonna click delete, right? I'm gonna show you how to add free music. What you wanna do is click add effect. First of all, if you have an MP3 music track on your phone, you can do this. I'm going to click audio from this list here. Let's see. I'm going to click audio right here. Click done. And then I'm going to click on this audio tab right here in the box. And now it's asking me, where do I have that audio file located? And it's telling me that it still needs to be an MP3 track. So I'm going to click choose file. If I have something on my phone, which I do, it's right here. It's called Sunbeat. I can load it straight from my phone, and that's how you load it from your phone, okay? Now I'm going to show you how to get the free files that Touchpix gives you if you don't have anything on your phone. I'm going to hit delete. Now I'm going to hit add effect. I'm going to scroll down this list, and I'm going to go down to where it says music. So remember, one says audio, the one with the free music says music. I'm going to click on music, right? And once I click on music, I'm going to click done. Once you see music pop into this gray box, you're going to click on the gray music tab. And it's telling me in order to use this effect, it needs to download the files first. So click OK. And it's downloading your music tracks. And boom, there are your 14 music tracks to choose from. You can play around with them, listen to them as needed. I'm gonna pick track 1, right? And once you select a track, it goes in bold and you're done selecting your music track. So these are the free tracks that Touchpix gives you. Now I want to add additional effects, right? So I'm going to go in and click add effect, and maybe I want to add a, let's add a different effect here. Let's add a rotate effect, right? I'm going to click done. You're going to see the rotate effect pop into this gray box. I'm going to click on the rotate tab, and this timeline opens up. This timeline represents the entire video. As is, it's telling me that this effect is actually on the entire video. I don't want that effect on the entire video. I just want that effect in a portion of the video. So I'm going to move the left little circle all the way towards the end of the video, kind of where I want it. Then I'm going to move the right circle, and I want that effect only to be applied there from 0.65 to 0.7. That's the only place I want that effect to be added. So because there was a caller here that said that they wanted to get the confetti pack, I'm actually going to show you how to use the confetti pack if you purchase it online. I'm going to go ahead and click add effect. And for the confetti pack, you're going to use a feature called overlay black, right? You're going to go to overlay black, click done. Once it pops up to your screen, you're going to click on overlay black, and now it's going to ask you to choose the file. I'm going to click choose file. I actually do have this confetti pack. I think it's on my phone. It's actually on my Dropbox. So for me, it's in my Dropbox account. Give me a second. Oh man, I won't be able to show you that. Give me one quick second and I'll show you. I just gotta update that real quick. Okay, now I can show you. I haven't updated my Dropbox, so it was asking me to put in a password. And I didn't want you guys to see my password, so I just took it off screen share. Okay, so let's go back in there. So now it's in my Dropbox account. And for me, I have everything I have tons of stuff in my Dropbox. So for me, I'm going to go into this specific folder. It's called confetti. There's my confetti. I have most of my confetti effects. These are all the pack that you can buy online. If they're optional, you don't need to buy it. I just have it because people want to know how to load it. Once I pick the confetti feature that I want, I'm going to go ahead and select it. And I just loaded the confetti feature. And I have 3 effects. And I'm almost good to go. Lastly, I want to add my my outro, right? My outro is a promotional video. I like it. I would only use outro because the intro file, I think it used to not work as well. Because what happened before is if you use an intro file and when you go to your sharing station, everybody's video will look identical because of the thumbnail. Touchpix fixed that. So if you guys want to use an intro instead of an outro, by all means, feel free to use an intro file. It actually grabs a clip from like 10 seconds into the video. So people now can identify what video is their video. And I think that was a smart thing that Touchpix did. But I'm going to show you an outro. An outro is typically, people like to brand their business. Or maybe I'll show you what I did. Let's see if I have it on here. I'm going to hit an intro file. I'm going to go ahead to files. And I think I have my stuff on my phone. So I'm going to go back onto my phone. I guess I don't have it. Well, maybe I'll load both of it. Okay, maybe I'll load my outro and my intro, the same file. But you can change them. It doesn't have to be the same. So I'm going to use an intro and an outro, meaning that I'll have an intro promo and an outro promo, right? I don't advise that, but just so you guys could get an idea of how that works, I want to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and toggle to the right now. This is my TV session. If I want to screen mirror, I'm going to toggle to the right, triggers, timeouts. I'm okay with all of these settings. The web server, I'm not going to touch on this app, but this is our way of, I'm hoping that they change that web server to say Scampix in the future. This is a way that if you buy a router, you can actually share your content without needing any type of internet at any venue. You just show up with your router, plug it into the wall. And if you fill that out correctly, people will be able to scan 2 QR codes, 1 to join your local network and 2 to grab the file. I'm not going to go with too much details. There's webinars on my YouTube page that will show you how to do that to get a good explanation, but it's here, it's free. Utilize everything that Touchpix gives you, okay? It actually lets you store your original files in Google Drive and Dropbox now, right? If you want to save not only the originals, I'm sorry, the output files with the overlay, it'll also save the originals without the overlay in case you want to make yourself a marketing video in the future of a mixture of stuff, right? So that's kind of where we're at. So now I'm going to hit go back. And we're kind of ready to do a quick session. I'm going to go ahead and do one from the seat of my office chair here. I'm going to hit record. You're going to see the process real quick. And we're going to go from there. Give me one quick second here. I'm hoping this is making a lot of sense to a lot of users. Here we go. I hit record. This is my office here. And I'm going to spin around in my chair. So you're seeing the effects being added. You're seeing the boomerang being added, combining files. It's applying all the filters. It's adding that overlay black. So the overlay black is what takes a little bit of time in processing because it's a special effect, but other than that, everything else should go by fairly quick. And it just adds a few extra seconds with the overlay black for the confetti to work. And once it applies the overlay, it's gonna apply the outro. I'm using intro and outro. I'm using everything. So of course it's gonna take a little longer than usual because I'm using I'm using it at full power or full capacity. It's going to add audio, and now it's going to do the video playback. You'll be able to see the video playback shortly now. So that's my intro file, right? Obviously, it's a little longer. It's really my outro, but I use that vocal. There's that confetti. That rotate effect. So what I'm going to do right now is actually, before I let you guys download that, I'm going to show you the sharing station portion of it in the Apple TV, and then we'll leave it up for a few questions and then we'll be done, okay? So what I'm going to do right now is the following, okay? I'm going to go ahead and just turn on my camera real quick so you guys can see the process on how that is done. We're almost done. Give me one quick second here. Okay, so this is my iPad, right? I actually downloaded Touchpix, or I didn't download Touchpix. I'm downloading Touchpix right now, and it's downloading. Once it finishes the downloading process, what I'm gonna do is scan the QR code. Okay, so it looks like it's Still downloading. Okay, there we go. Download, hit open. It's asking me for permissions for Bluetooth, hit OK. Activate event. Now I'm going to activate, instead of activating a normal event, I'm going to activate a sharing station. It's asking me for camera permissions. I have my QR code on my phone, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can put my phone somewhere in there. Okay, let me try doing this correctly. Sorry. I'm just going to pick up the iPad and do it the old-fashioned way here. There it is. I recognize the event. And it's asking me for further permissions there. Hit OK. Allow. Okay. Okay, now that it's on sharing mode, this is the following. You got to do the following thing here on sharing mode. On sharing mode, the first thing I'm going to recommend for people using the iPad is go into your general settings first. Once you're in your general settings, you're going to want to go over to general, which is already selected. You're going to go over to AirDrop. From AirDrop, make sure it's set to everyone, right? To make sure that you're able to AirDrop it to everybody's phone. Then you're going to go back down here where it says general, go over to display and brightness. Make sure display and brightness auto lock is set to never. What that does is prevents your iPad from falling asleep. Therefore, it doesn't disconnect. So then you're going to go ahead and go back into Touchpix. I'm actually going to use a separate phone here to show you guys the process. Just bear with me real quick because I need to go into the settings again to make sure I matched everything else, because I was showing you guys the settings for my actual phone. But I'm using that phone right now, obviously, to show you guys some of the effects. So just bear with me quickly while I make some of these adjustments. I guess if you guys have questions real quick, I could take a few, or maybe Tia, you can take a couple questions while I set this up.
I got you. Does anyone have any questions?
I do have a question. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah. So I just bought the Photo Booth 360 and they recommended me Touchpix. I have an event like 2 weeks ago. I've never used it before. Is there some like very beginner videos where I could just see how to record and then I can give them to the person on the event?
So I put some links in the chat of previously recorded webinars and tutorials. Those are the resources that you would review to get started. Also, we also put the support information in the chat. We don't cover step-by-step or do one-on-ones and support, but we assist you with any troubleshooting or any additional questions you may have once you review those tutorials or review the webinars and have any questions from that point on. There's also, if you are a member of our Facebook user group, we don't endorse anyone, but there are a few users that provide one-on-one sessions. You can pursue that option at your own, on your own accord. If you just search the search box, you'll see people who offer those trainings, but we do offer a plethora of resources that you don't even need to go that route. Just review the tutorials, webinars, and then utilize us on the support team.
Got you. And I want to understand the way the Touchpix works. Pretty much what I want to do is record on the event, and then when the person gets off the platform, we can share the video with them, right?
Yes, that's what DJ just covered. Were you on the webinar the whole time?
It's because I came in like 5 minutes late, and I'm taking notes of everything. I just I understand it correctly. That's pretty
Yeah.
much right.
Yeah, so this webinar will be able to view in its entirety tomorrow, and I put the link to the YouTube page in the chat as well. But yes, that's the general concept, and if you watch it from beginning to end, you'll see that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. Any additional questions?
Yeah, let's do one more question and I'm pretty much ready to go after that.
Okay. Well, just go ahead and then we'll come back for questions, DJ.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. So here we go. Sorry about that. I have to use a different device because I have a lot of devices and I'm screen mirroring off of one. So I wouldn't be able to show you how to sync the sharing station without activating a separate device. So that's kind of what I did. So first and foremost, I activated the iPad as a sharing station, right? So once I activate it as a sharing station, just be mindful of this, that every time you activate it as a sharing station, you should see it say sharing mode. What you need to do at that time is go over to the gallery, right, to make them sync and talk to one another. And you're going to click on gallery. Right when you click on gallery, you're going to see a circle with a letter, right? You're going to click on that circle. You're going to be given 3 options. One of the options is activate receiver. Your sharing station is always going to be your receiver. So you're going to click activate receiver. It turns over into a white R, right? Now you're going to go over to your iPhone. This is your capture device. This is the device that's probably on your spinner. You're going to click the same thing, gallery. You're also going to click on the circle with the letter. And on your iPhone, you're going to activate it as a sender. This is the sending device, right? Once you activate it as a sender, you're going to see the name of your iPad pop up. You're going to select it, and it should say success. You've now successfully connected, right? And now you can exit out, continue to record off of this. That turns into, your sharing station turns into a green R. And now it's only going to take a matter of seconds before that video gets transferred over. Again, this is your sharing station. So after every single session gets done, you're going to see the video pop up here. And in this case, you're going to see the video pop up. What do you guys think? Looks pretty cool, right?
That looks pretty nice. And then you just grab it from the QR code there, or what?
Yeah, so you can actually grab it from the QR code, which I'll let you guys grab it from home right now. So if I select it again and I click QR code, you guys can scan that from home.
Nice. That's super cool.
Are you guys able to get it? Okay, I'm gonna leave it up for 5 more seconds and then you guys can,
Yeah.
Cool. You guys will probably look at it with a lot better quality once you guys receive it because you guys are getting it not in the stream, but the actual original quality, right? So that's basically all you do. What I want to show you last is the Apple TV. And I've never done it this way in the webinar. This will be my first time doing it. I'm actually not going to be using an Apple TV box. What I'm using, because I have my Apple TV box is stored away, what I'm using is an HDMI cable. I'm pretending this iPad is on my sharing station. And I'm using an HDMI cable. And I'm also using this dongle, Fire, what is it? The Lightning to HDMI dongle for the iPad, right? So bear with me, I'm gonna plug it in here, but I'm gonna put my phone down so I can plug it in. Give me a second. Okay, so as you can see, I plugged it in right in here. Let me see, I plugged it in right there, and you can see it's on my TV, but you're seeing a screen mirror of what my sharing station is. I don't want that. I want to do it this way. So what you do is with your finger from the top right corner, you're gonna toggle down. Once you toggle down, you get the control center. You're gonna see screen mirroring pop up. Here we go. And it should activate. So what I'm gonna do, let me go back into the settings real quick. Because what I wanna do is, give me one sec here.
Do you want dinner? Yeah.
So somebody's gonna get some dinner.
Please remember to mute your lines, please.
I'm getting hungry now. Okay, there we go. So what I'm gonna do is go over to the TV session. And I'm actually gonna have the slideshow. I can do it two ways. So I can do it, actually, I should have done a slideshow only instead of live view. That's what I should have done. My bad. Let's see if that works here.
So you can do slideshow and live view at the same time?
No, you could do one or the
No,
other.
it's
One or the other. Yeah, and that was my bad for showing you that real quick. I trying to improvise here because I didn't have my Apple TV box.
Don't let DJ confuse you.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on. Here we go. So let me go back over to my to this device here and do a activate the sender again because I disconnected it. Here we go. Success. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do a live view because I actually needed to connect it here to my iPhone. But it should work in the sense of I'm going to just do a separate session real quick. Let's see if it works. Once it reaches the sharing station, I'm just going to move it. It's recording its process, it's doing its thing. Maybe I'll show you the screen mirroring the way it should work.
Do you recommend us getting a smart TV for streaming?
No, I recommend
No.
you guys actually getting the Apple TV box. I think it's inexpensive and it's a lot more reliable. The smart TV requires internet no matter what for the Apple syncing to work. So that's why I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, so check this out.
The Apple TV box 4th generation, because
So-
you can use, and like DJ said, without internet.
Gotcha.
There we go. So I want you guys to check this out. I'm gonna hit, I have the dongle on my phone. Just pretend that's an Apple TV working wirelessly. I'm gonna hit record. And once I hit record, look at the TV. Anywhere I move my phone is your live view, right? So it's 2, 1, and you can actually see everything on the actual TV, right? So now it's processing all of the files. You're gonna see that I just recorded something with the phone in my hand using the live view recording feature.
That background photo, is that something you added or is that
No, that comes naturally with Touchpix. We're working on getting some packs for you guys to be able to switch those out easily. We're having somebody create those. I don't know what the ETA on that is, but something is going to come out shortly with something you guys will be able to change. But as you can see, it's processing the overlay black, it's processing the overlay. Now I'm just looking at the TV, sitting back and waiting for it to process. It's adding the audio, and you should see the video playback now within 2 seconds. There you go. There it is. You'll see it almost in full screen mode, right? Versus if you chose the vertical platform, you see the side black bars a little bit thicker. I'm not a fan of that, but to each his own. There's your confetti. And now if you guys wanted to download anything, you guys can actually scan that QR code and download that video from the screen instead of the sharing station, right? And as it makes it to the sharing station, you see now that I have 3 videos up there, right? So somebody will come up here, pick whatever video they find that's their own. They can either share it via text, right? They can share it via airdrop or email. So you have a lot of ways of sharing it, but definitely just wanted to highlight that. See the big branding that stands out on your TV. The branding is from where you loaded the app logo on the web interface. Whatever you throw on there is for branding purposes. So yeah, definitely wanted to share that. Now I do have time for a couple questions. I don't have time for a lot of questions, but I definitely value you guys' time and the effort you guys put in staying on this webinar for so long, but want to be able to answer some questions.
So quick question, once you activate an event, how long do you have before you have to close it out?
That's actually a very good question. There's no expiration date, right? Because if you're a subscriber, if you buy it for the week, you actually can have it throughout the whole week. If you buy it for the month, you can have that event active for the whole month, right? So it's really no expiration date. I don't understand why you would want it active for so long, but you can. Once you close it though, the gallery is going to live in your web interface, right? For up to a year. So this is my web interface. I'm going to go to events and I'm going to use an event that I just did. So let's go here. I'm going to go to gallery. So this is my web interface. This is the link that you give your clients, right? So it has my branding and the background. And this is kind of an event that I did, right? Fairly recent. And yeah, so this is just something that you can definitely keep up here for up to a year or so. So it's really up to you, you know, when you want to exhaust this event or not. So this just gives you a quick little outlook of the process. In this case, yeah, I used template 3, I think. So this is the event. There's the Apple TV in the background playing the slideshow. And there it is. This is something that you give your clients that can download it. There's my outro video and you're ready to roll. Any other questions?
Is the TV just for the slideshow, or is it something you need?
You don't need it.
Because
I use it optional because I charge more for it, right? So
okay,
I charge a fee, and then if they want the updates, the upgrades to enhance the event, yeah, you should be charging an extra $200-300 depending on the TV that you're bringing out.
okay, but I mean, to get started, pretty much just the phone and then the receiver, right? Which it could be an iPad or
Correct.
TV.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so just so I'm not devaluing you guys efforts, what should be a great starting price for these services?
Yeah, that's really not a question for me. I mean,
Yeah,
if I
say
tell
that's
you,
a personal preference.
yeah,
That's, you know, you got to go by your market, your area.
research your market, your area.
I'm in
If I tell you,
Orlando, Florida. It's a high tourist area.
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
I
we
mean,
wouldn't know, so we can't advise you on pricing. That's not something that we would do.
exactly.
Yeah.
Really, just research your area. I mean, I'm sure you're not the only one in your area offering services. I would just research, call 6 other companies and see what they're charging, and you know, try to land in something that works for you.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, 2 more questions, and then we're going to close out for the night, guys.
How can I watch the recorded webinar?
I'll put that information in the chat. I'll put it in again, but you'll watch it. It'll be available starting tomorrow. And the YouTube link that I put in the chat is how you'll be able to access it.
Gotcha. And then you said there's a Facebook group?
Yep, I'll put the information in the chat as well, but I'll put it in again.
Got it. Thank you.
I have a question. When DJ, when you use your money gun, do you manually pick up all that money in the end, or you have
Negative.
staff pick it up?
I got a 19-year-old college student that helps me set up and break down, and he's the picker upper.
Okay,
Yeah, so
just wondering because I'm too
yeah,
old to
I
do
mean,
all
I've
that
done it in the
picking up
past.
money.
I've done it in the past, but it gets old. I typically only bust out the money gun the last 30 minutes or so. It's not on full time.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Enjoy y'all night. Thanks for a good webinar again,
Thank
as
you.
always.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. I wish you guys have a great night. This is just informational. I appreciate you guys staying on the call. If you guys need refreshers, you guys need to get a hold of us. Jump in our group, ask questions. You'll reach out to any of us, whether it be myself, DJ, Tia, Charles, Jessica, Julian. There's a lot of us now. Michelle,
right.
you guys can reach us. We have 7-day support. I think we're pretty awesome at what we do. Again, this is all for educational purposes and to give you guys just pro tips on how to make that money and really make that, that value go up in the services that you're offering. But thanks everybody. I'm about to go grab some dinner myself.
I got one more question. I'm sorry.
Sure. Go ahead.
Now all of this stuff still gonna apply with the GoPro, or is things gonna
Correct.
change?
Exact
slightly?
same thing. There's just 2 extra steps. And those 2 extra steps is connecting your GoPro. There's webinars on that as well. You might just want to toggle on the area of connecting the GoPro. That's all you need to know.
Okay. All right, no problem.
All right. Everybody have a great night. Make that money.
You too.
See ya.
Thanks.
See ya. Bye-bye.
You too. Thanks.